Now, this hasn't been said before in the white paper, but the goal of Genius is to sustain perfect operations flawlessly for at least 50 years, and then to be able to theoretically last for 100 years. And as you can see in the white paper, there is a future-proofing Genius area. And to be frank, all immutable contracts need a way to future-proof themselves. A lot of people who are super interested in Genius happen to understand Genius very well because they somewhat understand Hex, or they've used Hex. And so Hex is an example of an immutable contract that really needed an efficient way to exodus. And we saw what went horribly wrong with Hex, the insanely high gas fees, because the truth is it really isn't that gas efficient, even though the people behind it claim it to be. And, you know, just things to be learned from that happen. So personal update on me, you know, the stress, the working on this has been myself taking a lot of personal responsibility along with the team to ensure and simulate as many possibilities with other software that we have and that we implement to simulate and find any future gotchas. And there's so many future gotchas that happen. That's why there's been 5 years of research for Genius. That's why the last nearly 2 years have been just tokenomics development. And I think we've been developing for about 6 months now. Maybe less than that. All right. So some of the biggest problems with well, before going that, let me see if there's any questions in regards to that here. Will we have the same amount of tokens for people who sacrificed? Are you going to have the same amount of tokens on all chains? For the sacrifice audit, by the way, those amount of tokens, you'll be able to claim those, airdrop claim those on Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. When it comes to Pulse Chain, we'll just have to see what happens. As we know, Pulse Chain is still not here after over a year. I think it's been over a year. And to be frank, I think all the people from Pulse Chain are just getting a huge dose of reality that making a blockchain is not easy. It's not easy. I've known many developers. I mean, I even know, like, not very personally, but pretty close, some of the original Bitcoin core developers. I know Satoshi, just kidding. And making blockchain technology is absolutely way harder than making smart contracts. So I think Pulse Chain and the developers, they're just getting a healthy dose of, hey, this isn't as easy as you think it is. But yeah, so what happens with Pulse Chain, we're all following that very closely. But when it comes to Genius and how that will work with Pulse Chain, so many things can happen. So many things could happen. So many unexpected things could happen. There could be some bug with Pulse Chain that happens to affect Genius. Who knows? Either way, Genius will be on Pulse Chain. Maybe it gets copied, and it'll probably get copied because of the fact that I'm pretty sure Pulse Chain won't be here until at least mid-January. That's how I feel. Maybe later. Another one, do we have a concern that we're launching in 10 days, yet we don't have fully functional beta? Well, what I gotta say about the beta is, you know, I realize people's expectations with betas. You know, a beta, and maybe this expectation, you know, I apologize. I think this expectation should have been put out very frontwards, which, you know, there's been a lot of have no expectations going on, a lot of that mantra, which is really a good way to live, by the way. However, with expectations that that can be given from the development side,